Hey everyone, it's Jeff from New York, and today we're going to visit Harlem, which is located just north of Central Park. Harlem has long been synonymous with black culture. In the early 20th century, the neighborhood was a setting for African American-led movements in music, literature, dance, and art, collectively known as the Harlem Renaissance. It featured innovators like Betsy Smith, Langston Hughes, and Josephine Baker. That legacy is still evident today, especially along the area's main thoroughfare, 125th Street, which is anchored by the famous Apollo Theater. And here we have the sidewalk along 110th Street in Upper Manhattan. Very clean street and sidewalk. Most of the areas in New York City are very clean right now. On the right, we have the northern border of Central Park, and on the left we have the southern border of Harlem. At the northwest corner of Central Park, there's a traffic circle which joins Central Park, the Upper West Side, and Harlem. Much more than just a traffic circle, Frederick Douglass Circle is a park. Its features include a complex colored paving pattern that alludes to a traditional African-American quilt designs, wrought iron elements, a water wall, and inscribed historical details and quotations representing the life of Frederick Douglass, an American abolitionist, women's suffragist, editor, orator, author, statesman, and reformer. The highlight of the Circle Park is without a doubt the statue of Douglass himself, which can be seen from all angles as you drive around the circle. Very impressive monument. The circle was redesigned recently to make it more symmetrical with the Duke Ellington Circle at Central Park's northeast corner on the opposite side. This is the Duke Ellington Circle, formerly named Frawley Circle. This circle is located where Central Park, the Upper East Side, and Harlem meet. It's a symmetrical opposite of the Frederick Douglass Circle, located on the park's upper west corner, just a few blocks up on 110th. Named after the legendary jazz musician Duke Ellington, the monument was completed by sculptor Robert Graham in 1997. The monument features 9 nude muses supporting a grand piano and Ellington himself on their heads. I think it would be fun to give someone that description and ask them to draw what they think the monument looks like prior to show them the actual photos. In any event, the circle also features a shallow amphitheater. Here we have the Harlem Mirror, which is in the northern section of Central Park, which is not as visited by tourists as the southern section, but it's just as beautiful. Many New Yorkers consider this a best-kept secret as far as Central Park is concerned. Mirror is Dutch for lake. The Harlem Mirror is known for its catch-and-release fishing, skating, and swimming at Lasker Rink and Pool, and surrounding playgrounds. The Mirror is also a thriving home to fish, turtles, and waterfowl. Surrounding the Mirror are many varieties of trees, shrubs, and flowers. As with all bodies of water in the park, the Harlem Mirror is as man-made as the Lasker Rink and swimming pool. If you glance at the sign quickly, you might think this is the Charles and Diana Discovery Center. However, it's the Charles A. Dana Discovery Center. It's located on the northern edge of Central Park along the border of Harlem. It was built in 1993 on the Harlem Mirror, and the Discovery Center is the park's newest building. It's the site for many educational and community programs, seasonal exhibits, and holiday celebrations. Some of the seasonal events include the Harlem Mirror Performance Festival in the summer, the Halloween Pumpkin Sale and candlelit jack-o'-lanterns on the Mirror in the autumn, and the holiday lighting event in the winter. The Discovery Center is also home to Central Park's catch-and-release fishing program. As we move a little more uptown into the heart of Harlem, we come across the Cotton Club on 125th Street. It opened in 1923 further north in Harlem on 142nd Street and Lenox Avenue. It then moved to the Theater District in Midtown on 48th Street and Broadway from 1936 to 1940 during Prohibition. The club was closed several times for Prohibition violations, and the Theater District location was closed for good in 1940. A new incarnation of the Cotton Club was opened in 1977 back up in Harlem, and you can see it under this overpass. The Cotton Club was a whites-only club in its early years. This eventually changed due to pressures from many of its headliners, which included Cab Calloway, Duke Ellington, Louis Armstrong, Count Basie, Fats Waller, the Dangerous Sisters, Buddy Holliday, Lena Horne, the Nicholas Brothers, Jimmy Durante, George Gershwin, Sophie Tucker, Al Jolson, Mae West, Irving Berlin, Eddie Cantor, Fanny Brice, Judy Garland, Jimmy Walker, and on and on and on. Francis Ford Coppola directed the motion picture The Cotton Club in 1984. The club was also featured in the 1997 movie Hoodlum and was mentioned in the Ken Burry's documentary Jazz. Today, the legendary club is mostly a Harlem tourist spot, but it remains a club rich in history. 125th Street has some of the best street vendors in the city. The items are cool and unique, just like the vendors. Unlike other areas of Manhattan, 125th Street has walking vendors as well. These walking vendors most likely aren't licensed but sell the best stuff. My recommendation is you start with a big empty bag and walk down 125th Street from one end to the other, and you'll be amazed how quickly it fills up. You can find just about anything, and I mean anything, on 125th Street. And here we have a street art vendor on 125th Street. Very nice posters of nationally famous celebrities celebrated locally by a street artist. We're at the intersection of 125th and Amsterdam, the heart of Harlem. This is the New York Public Library's 125th Street branch in Harlem. Here's a truck I came across while walking around Harlem, just stomping burros, delivering produce. As you walk along 125th Street, you'll eventually come across the Apollo Theater. The theater has a seating capacity of a little over 1,500 seats and was built in 1913. It was originally called the Hertig and Simon's New Burlesque Theater. Originally, the theater was a whites-only venue, but was open to black patrons in 1934, the same time the name was changed to the Apollo. The building was closed several times in its past because of disrepair and crime. In 1976, an 8-year-old boy was shot to death inside the theater. Time and money has turned the theater around, and it is now visited by 1.3 million people each year. The interior and exterior are designated New York City landmarks, and the building itself is on the National Register of Historic Places. This is the lobby of the Apollo Theater in Harlem. The lobby of the theater was restored in 2001, and the exterior was restored in 2005 and includes the LED marquee out front. Here we have just a few of the many plaques on the walkway in front of the Apollo Theater on 125th Street. These are the legendary artists who have made this legendary theater, including Michael Jackson, Ella Fitzgerald, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Little Richard, Stevie Wonder, Etta James, Smokey Robinson, and many, many more. Riverside Park is a 4-mile-long but narrow park that runs along the Hudson River from 72nd Street all the way up to 158th Street. The park runs through the Upper West Side, Morningside Heights, Harlem, Hamilton Heights, and the Washington Heights areas of Manhattan. The park is only one of 8 officially designated scenic landmarks in New York City. The facilities include a wide range of sport courts and fields, a skate park, dog runs, bicycle paths, a 110-slip marina at 79th Street, fitness equipment, playgrounds, spray showers, eateries, and Wi-Fi hotspots. With the addition of Riverside Park South, Hudson River Park, and Battery Park, one can walk along the Hudson River from Manhattan's southernmost point to its northernmost tip without leaving a park. And finally, we have Morningside Park. It's actually in Morningside, just outside of Harlem. Morningside will be featured in another video of mine. But from the cliffs of the park, you can overlook Columbia University and Harlem to the north. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe by clicking on the button on the left. On the right, you can click on my playlist of narrated photo videos or my playlist of walking 4K videos. Thanks again, and I'll see you around the city.